Hey folks, it's King from Stay Tuned Sports, and I gotta tell you, I love energy drinks. They help give me that boost that I need to finish all my work, get through game film recaps from all of Sunday's games, and they provide that pick-me-up during a very long week. What I don't love is that crash and the jitters, the gross feeling you get with most other energy drinks. And that's why I tried Dubby, and I gotta tell you, Dubby is a game changer with flavors like Dragonade, Beach and Peach, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, the Dub Sludge. You can find your favorite or just get them all. There's no jitters, there's no crash because there's no sugar in Dubby. Plus, Dubby contains Neurofactor, an all-natural ingredient derived from coffee cherries, which has been linked to enhance brain function. You go on over to dubby.gg right now. That's dubby.gg to grab the best energy drink you've ever had. And if you enter the code STSports18 in all caps, you'll get 10% off your order. That's STSports18 to get 10% off of Dubby. Be better.
And hello there, all you stay tuned. Hey, listen, it might be the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Don't get me wrong here. First quarter, keep it even. Second quarter, start running the fucking ball. Third quarter, take a power nap. Fourth quarter, oh shit, there's the rest of the game. Let's go.
Fuck it, I'm a diabetic. I will root for the team that will literally give me diabetes and death. Rooting for a team from Hershey is like a Catholic rooting for Satan. It doesn't make any sense.
This is Stay Tuned Sports, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here with our buddy King.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I just... Oh, this is going to be a fun one.
But I lost you for a second.
It's close. It's close to almost losing me because, again, there's technical difficulties. That's why I wasn't on last week. That's why we didn't have a show last week because the connection that we have is not working. I don't know why. I think it's my end. I think it's the internet on my end here. Been trying to figure out for the last 2 weeks what the fuck is going on, and see what we could do. It's bad because you'll be speaking, and I'll hear 2 to 3 words of what you're normally saying. Now, granted, it's hard to understand what you're saying most times when I can hear you clearly. But it was getting to the point where I just can't. Like, I can't have a conversation because I don't know what you're saying. I have no idea. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I ended up, like, this is a fucking story. Me and the fiance, we have FiOS down here, which is supposed to be like super fast fiber optic, internet. We only have the 100 up, 100 down, which I think is the lowest they have. But still, tremendous, compared to what the internet I had up in Northeast PA, what I imagine you have too, is it should be it's very good. It blows anything else up there out of the water.
Yeah.
But still, like there was a problem. There's a problem going on, and my fiance tried several times to call Verizon, talk to Verizon, see what's going on. They weren't doing anything. They tried to see what was going on. They tried to reboot the router or look at the router or do something like that. And they were just like, oh, it all seems fine. Everything seems fine. It's like, oh, no, it's not, clearly. So then finally I was just like, screw it. Give me your login information. I'll talk to them because I love my fiance, but she's a little timid.
Yes.
Sometimes, and she doesn't push on things. That's not the case with me. So it ended up being late last night. So their call center was closed. So I had to do a live chat. Oh shit. So I end up talking to these people, and I finally get on with somebody on the live chat. And, they ask you to, like, to do all this automated stuff first. And it's like, what's wrong with your router? What service do you need? Is there something wrong with your internet? Well, yes, clearly. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you. And then after they try to do a reboot from their end, they can like send a reboot signal to the router to reboot itself.
Okay.
That didn't work. So then they're like, "Oh, can you take a picture of the back and front of your router, and we can see if what's the problem?" I was like, "I don't know why you need to do that, but sure, why not?" So I do that, and they're like, "Looks like everything's fine. Would you like to talk to somebody? Like, would you like to talk to a live agent?" I was like, "I would have liked to have done that to start with, but all right, fine." Finally, get on with a live agent. First of all, this person's language or grasp of the language and their ability to type it out is worse than yours.
I've witnessed that before.
See, here's a good thing about having you as a friend is that I'm used to Jimbo gauge, so I could decipher what the fuck she was saying. But my brother in Christ, let me tell you, it was difficult to try to get through with what the hell she was saying.
Yeah.
So I go and I'm explaining to her what the issue is. Last 2 weeks, internet is intermittent and beyond slower. I mean, we're paying for 100 up, 100 down, and we're getting like 7 download and like 20 upload. Like it's we're not getting anything. This is weird. Let me look at this. So she's like, let me look at what I could do. Okay, I figured she's going to go and look around and what she's going to, is there a problem in the service? Is there a problem in the lines? Is there going to have to send a tech out or something? Like, what are we going to do? So she comes back and says, I have great news. All right, I'm happy now. She's going to fix it. She's going to know what's going on. All right, let's go. We can give you a brand new deal on 500 megabyte internet service from FiOS for only like $70 something and and I was like, whoa. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I didn't call to order anything or get a new service. I was like, I'm calling because there's a problem with my internet. I want to get my internet fixed. As I'm trying to explain that to her, the page like blanks out on me on my phone. I could just boop. Now again, granted, I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm on my mobile network because I don't trust the Wi-Fi. But then the mobile network kind of went out, which again was Verizon. Again, I don't know if Verizon's ever going to sponsor us, but this may not help. So now I'm frantically trying to get back to the chat. I'm going back. I'm trying to hit the line. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to lose her. Oh, what's going on? I get back to the chat. Her first message that pops up in there is, all right, so when can I send the tech out? What time would be great for you to do this? And I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute. I didn't order anything. I didn't approve you to order anything. I didn't say, yes, send a tech out. I didn't say, yeah, let's do this. And she was like, oh, yeah, all you have to do is, how would you like to have this confirmed? Through text or email or anything like that? I was like, I don't want anything confirmed. I was like, the only thing I want confirmed is fix my goddamn internet.
Yeah.
And she's like going on like, well, it might be a problem with the router. Your router is kind of grandfathered in. It's an older router and all that kind of stuff. I was like, then send me a new router. I was like, that's all you got to do is send me a new router. That's fine. It's your router. We'll send this one back. You send me another one. The same thing that they always do.
Yeah.
She says, okay, hold on a minute. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. Like, oh, because now at this point I'm fucking fuming because I was like, she was ready to put through a fucking change of service order that I'd never asked for.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, under my fiance's account. So like now she's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what are we doing here? So this lady comes back to the chat. Good news. I've talked with my immediate supervisors, and we're going to be able to send you 300 megabytes for only $49.99. And I'm like, and I put in chat, and I screamed, no. I went, no. And then I sent it. And then I read the message again, and it's like, oh, I'll give you 300 megabyte internet for $49.95. And I stopped and I paused for a second, and I turned to my fiance and I says, how much are we paying for internet now? And she was like $72. I was like, fuck. So I was like, they're offering 300 megabytes and a new router and all that stuff for $49.95. So like, and I think she gets a discount too because she does direct payment. She doesn't do anything like that. So it's like a 10. So she pays actually like 62.
Yeah.
So this would be like a $12 less a month, and it would be better internet.
But it'll be a contract though.
It's everything's a contract now. I don't know if it's I don't know if Verizon works like that anymore. I'm not sure. Either way, you know, it's the same amount. It's she's had it here for what, I think 5 years now or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I tell her about that, and she's like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah, we'll do that then. And I'm like, shit, now I got to go back to this chat where I just screamed at this lady again. No, how dare you? And so the very next message I put was, okay, wait a minute. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Do that. I went back and looked at the chat. There was never a bigger backtrack in 2 messages that I've seen in my entire life. Hey, we'd like to give you this. No! But actually, wait. On second thought, yeah, no, that's fine. We'll do that.
I would have been like, that message was for my wife. What were you saying now?
I was like, I showed that to my fiance. She died laughing. She died laughing. She was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So hopefully sometime within the next week, we'll be getting the new router, put that in, and hopefully any sort of internet issues that happen with this show will be gone, which will be good, right in time for football season.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And do all that kind of stuff. But that's kind of been the saga of the last week or two here. That's why we weren't on the air last week. But 100% my fault. Well, I mean, no,
it's 50-50. It's 25-50-25. It's 25 years, 25 internet, 50% mine, because I could have put out a show too, but I also had family coming on the weekend, so.
No, I mean, it's because we could have got one off. We could have got one off last week if it wasn't for fucking Verizon. So I'm not even going to take it but it's not. I don't think it's my fault. It's not your fault. It's Verizon's fault. 1,000% Verizon. I blame them, and for the quality of this show. Because we're still working with a shitty router and bad internet, which is supposed to be good internet, but it's bad internet. So until that all gets fixed, and that's the other thing too. Once it comes in, if it's still not fixed, oh boy, am I going to be pissed. But for now, we'll see what happens. I'll try to power through. As you're very choppy on my end, but again, I think that's more the case of my internet, and plus my computer too. My computer is fucking 10 years old. Like, this thing is horrendous. Like, I don't know how it's still actually running, to tell you the truth. And hey, if anybody wants to help me get a new computer, you can go ahead and help support the show over at buymeacoffee.com/ and that, what is that? ST Sports?
Yeah, ST Sports.
ST Sports. So buymeacoffee.com/ ST Sports. Make a donation. Help support your boys. That's it. Don't think of it as a donation. I mean, it is, but don't think of it that way. Think of it as helping to support your creators. If you like the show, help us out. Well, okay, let me be more fair here. Help me the fuck out. And help me get a new computer, maybe some new equipment here, so we actually put on a better show. And better quality, because right now I'm dragging this motherfucker down. It's not great. But all that being said, how you doing, Jimbo?
I'm pretty good. I wasn't able to watch the Notre Dame game, but thankfully you were kind of giving me updates. The only time I got to see any of the game, we actually, like I just said, we had family come in, had my little niece come in, went out to a restaurant/bar. They had it on there, but by that time it was already 42-7, and Andy was like, "Dad, I think we won." I said, "Yeah, we won." So I stopped worrying about the game. But according to you, it sounded like we were pretty good.
Good. It was. I mean, again, it was a throttling, and I'm happy to see it, because these are the games against these. Now, again, it's Navy. I know everybody says, "Oh, Navy sucks," and they're not doing well, and it's not. Navy is, there was that time about 5-10 years ago where Navy was really good. They even beat Notre Dame a couple of times when Notre Dame wasn't doing so great in some of those seasons, but.
Yeah.
These are the games and against those teams that Notre Dame sometimes struggled against. Like, I mean, we all remember the Akron game,
Oh, gotcha.
and things like that. So the fact that we won handily, and where people are like, oh yeah, but it's Navy, let's see them do something else like that. I was like, well, these are the same people that, like, if we won 28-0, they'd be like, oh, they only won 28-0. Notre Dame sucks. They're like, there are people who are just going to shit on Notre Dame no matter what. I get that. And again, tests are coming soon. Ohio State's right here. You know what I mean? So those tests are coming. But it was good to see us get off to a start like that. And we look real good.
And the quarterback play too, because that was my big question going in to the season, was the quarterback position. The kid that was supposed to start for us transferred out. The other starter, I think, declared for the draft. So, I mean, we had this Sam Hartman, I think his name, starting. So I didn't know how good it was going to be. But
first of all, Sam Hartman was the all-time leader. I think it is for touchdown passes, and I think for yards in the ACC.
Okay.
So us getting Sam Hartman, like, he's not some fucking scrub transfer. Like, this kid can sling.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fantastic. I mean, the fact that Notre Dame got him is a huge upgrade, and you saw that in the game against Navy, and why it was so lopsided. And that's why I'm excited for Notre Dame this year, because we have the ability now to stretch the field, unlike we've been like. Here's the thing. I'm not saying Ian Book was not a bad quarterback.
No, he's not.
Well, in the NFL, he is.
I was going to say he's a
when
college
he was Notre
quarterback.
Dame, he wasn't. Yeah, like I think he was a good, solid quarterback.
Yeah.
He can't do the things that Sam Hartman can do. Sam Hartman is more complete. He's more well-rounded. Granted, Sam Hartman is a little bit older. He's kind of around that Stetson Bennett kind of age there.
Yeah.
Which is fine by me. At this point, college sports is basically fucking professional anyway. I mean, I think we've all kind of accepted that fact. So just having him there, the Notre Dame defense looks good. Our running game looks good. Offensive line looks good. Are there spots we can improve in? Yes. Will we need to in order to beat the likes of like an Ohio State, Clemson, USC? Yes. But I think Notre Dame can, and I think Notre Dame is going to be a solid top 10 team this year. I really do. I don't think this is a case where Notre Dame is going to be out of the playoff picture by October. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the problem last year. We lost the first two games, and that's it. We were already done. I think Notre Dame has a chance to, even if we lose to Ohio State. I think we have a chance, because that was the thing. We lost that close game to Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
And then we lost the game that we shouldn't have lost right afterwards. But like the fact that we gave Ohio State hell gave people respect. Now we have Ohio State coming to South Bend. That's big. And now you have Ohio State, who's always a perennial playoff favorite, Big Ten favorite, coming in earlier in the season. Notre Dame can put a stamp on this season. And especially with Ohio State, they're still, I think they named their starter, but from what I've heard, the situation is quote unquote fluid when it comes to the Ohio State starting quarterback position. So the fact that Notre Dame knows who their quarterback is a veteran basically at this point, is comfortable, confident, and we seem to already kind of be pushing those pushing all the right buttons, as it were. I think it's going to be a good game. I do. Whenever Notre Dame and Ohio State play in a couple weeks here.
I hope so. Do you think there's any pressure for season-wide for Marcus Freeman, the head coach, or do you think we're another year away before he gets any hot seat talk.
The only way we get that is if he's like, you know, a 5-7 or something.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I think if Notre Dame is honestly, I think if Notre Dame is top 10, I think he's fine. I think if he gets a double-digit win season, I think he's clearly fine.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame has the ability to do that. This team has that ability. Will they? Can they? We'll see.
Yeah.
But you know, and again, you can't get too high off of one game against a subpar opponent. I get it. And so that's why I'm not saying like, yeah, Notre Dame, they're going to be great. They're going to all this other stuff. I think we can be competitive with Ohio State. I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm not even coming close to saying that. But I think we can be competitive, and I think it's going to be a good game. I think Notre Dame can be a top 10 team. Does that mean that we have 2 losses on our season somewhere? Probably. It could be. Like I said, that you could be top 10 and still not get double-digit wins. I get that. But I think Notre Dame has to the 3 marquee games Notre Dame has this year is Ohio State, Clemson, and USC.
Yeah.
If we win 2 out of 3 of those games, I think we're a top 10 team, and I think Marcus Freeman obviously is fine. But we have to win 2 out of those 3. Have to. At least. We have to win 2 out of those 3. And that's a tall, difficult task to do. And no one's saying it's easy. No one's saying it's like, oh, you're just saying you're saying that and having expectations. It's like, well, you're Notre Dame. If you want to be one of the big teams now, because that's the other thing too, is I love Notre Dame, but other programs have lapped us.
Oh yeah.
Other programs are bigger, getting better recruits, better athletes, getting more recognition, getting more opportunities. Ohio State is one of them. Alabama, clearly, Georgia, Clemson, USC. All these places are big marquee names, places where people want to go. They have big players that transfer there, big players that commit to there out of high school. Like these are the places. And when it comes to Notre Dame's limited by the fact that you still have to be smart to go there.
Yeah.
Like, they don't just let in every fucking moron that knows how to catch a football. Like you have to be smart to go to Notre Dame.
Which is funny that you bring about academics. It came out this past week. Penn State is actually like the bottom 16th in academics now. Whereas, when Joe Pa was there, that's what he always pushed for, was the academics.
Yeah, and when the Big Ten is big on having the academics for the most part.
Yeah.
But they're not as strict as it is with Notre Dame for getting people in. The Big Ten loves having the fact that they're AAU and they, have, you have to be AAU certified to be in the Big Ten and do stuff like that. But let's be honest, like you look at the people who go to Ohio State, people who go to Michigan, people who go to Michigan State, Penn State, next year, people who go to USC. You may have the AAU certification, but you're not as strict with your football program anyway as Notre Dame is of letting kids in. That's a limitation for Notre Dame. It is about getting the most talented kids because, who was it? I think it was one of the Ohio State kids or something said, we're not here to play school. We're here to play football.
Yeah.
Nobody came here to play school. And that's basically what it is with a lot of these schools now, you don't even have to read. I remember reading somewhere like some of the SEC, a lot of the SEC athletes had a barely comprehensible reading ability, if not straight illiterate.
Yeah,
that were playing football and had scholarships to these schools. So let's not kid anybody here. And now with NIL, is Notre Dame going to participate in the NIL of paying players and doing stuff like that? Like the college football world is changing. Notre Dame, if Notre Dame doesn't change with it, they're going to be left behind, and we're already seeing that kind of happen.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing too. Despite all that, let's not forget, in the last 10 years, Notre Dame's been to a national championship game and have been to 2 college football playoffs.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good for a program that's left behind, for a program that's supposed to be dead, for a program that's not as good as any other ones. Now, would it have been better if they had won 3 of those national championships when they went? Sure. Would have been a lot better. And it would have put Notre Dame on a lot higher pedestal and a lot a better talking point. And at the end of the day, I think that's why Brian Kelly left. Good riddance. Fuck that fucking bastard.
Screw him.
He killed the kid. Let's not forget that. Scissor lift. But that's a factor. He's thought that he could not compete in the recruiting and the ability to get the athletes needed at Notre Dame away from places like Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, LSU, Florida State, Clemson, things like that, Miami, especially, you have that. Like Notre Dame doesn't have the prestige anymore. Notre Dame 30 years ago was really the only national college football team.
Yeah.
Like they were on NBC. They had a national television deal. They weren't local. It wasn't regional. Notre Dame was fucking everywhere, and they were the only college football team like that. That's not the case. Like that's it. CBS would show like an SEC game of the week, but it was always a different SEC team, and you'd have 1 or 2 on there at the same time, whether it would be Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, whatever. Notre Dame was on NBC nationally every week. You saw Notre Dame. That's not the case anymore. I mean, that's the thing is now you have, like let's look at the Big Ten. Big Ten's on 3 fucking networks. The Big Ten is basically the NFL.
Yeah.
The Big Ten is on Fox, NBC, and CBS. They're going to have their big games on Fox. They have big primetime games on NBC. And they have their lower games that are going to be either on CBS or Peacock that you can even watch. Like, that's what I mean. So even everybody from Maryland and Rutgers to Northwestern and Iowa and shit, everybody's getting some sort of exposure, some sort of national exposure. That's fucking crazy. But that also puts Notre Dame behind the 8 ball. They're not the special team anymore. They're not the only national focus. Everybody looks at that, and now you have kids who aren't like, man, I want to go to Notre Dame because Notre Dame is full of exposure. Everybody knows everybody from Notre Dame. They're the Fighting Irish. They're everywhere. National exposure. All eyeballs on them. Everybody sees them. Now it's like, I want to go play for Alabama because they win fucking chips. I want to go to Georgia. I want to go to Clemson. I want to go to Miami because the fucking beach is nice. I want to go to USC because the fucking girls at USC, let's be honest, fucking top tier. Hey, listen, I love watching the Notre Dame and USC games, but let's be honest, when you see the Notre Dame cheerleaders, they're nice. When you see the USC cheerleaders, I'm getting my singles out. That's just the nature of the beast. And when you're talking to 17, 18-year-old teenage boys, where do you want to go? Cold ass South Bend, Indiana, where the girls are, Indiana girls, or do you want to go to fucking Southern California, Los Angeles, beautiful sunny beaches and tiny fucking bikinis where the co-eds are fucking top tier? Where do you think a fucking teenage boy is going to go? Let's be fucking honest. So you have to compete against that. And Notre Dame has to compete against that. And they used to be special because they were the national brand. They're not that anymore. They have to find a way to compete, whether that's loosening their NIL, loosening maybe some of the academic restrictions, maybe joining a conference. God, I know you don't want to say that word about Notre Dame, but as somebody who was always staunchly keep Notre Dame independent, which I have been and always have been. Everybody was always screaming, no, Notre Dame should join a conference. Fuck you. We don't need to join a conference. We have the toughest schedule that we schedule every year If you go by the fucking metrics, if you go by strength of schedule, Notre Dame, like every year, is top 5, top 10 in toughest schedules. We don't do cupcakes. We don't do Division I AA schools or the bowl championship series like fucking Alabama plays Citadel or South Carolina State. It's like we're not playing those teams. Yeah, we play in Navy, we play in Army, we play in Akron, who fucking beat us. Play fucking. We play some of the lower tier MAC team or something like that every now and then, but we also play fucking Ohio States and Clemson's. We play USC every year, Stanford when they were good.
Yeah.
Like that's Notre Dame has got that, but in the changing landscape of college football, I think it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to look at everything and be like, we might have to join a conference and to secure a spot in the playoffs, to make it easier for us to make our case to be in the playoffs. Because that's the other thing too. If you get in the playoffs, that's national exposure. And the more you're exposed, the more you can get people to want to go to your college, especially if you're good, especially if you go far. If people can see you year in and year out, competing for championships, competing for being the best, and sending your players to the NFL. That's the other thing. Like, if you want to look at NFL players, what programs currently have the most players in the NFL right now? Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
There are more players from Alabama and Georgia in the NFL right now than any other school.
And I think it's like a lot
more.
By
a wide fucking margin.
Yeah.
So you're telling these kids, not only are you going to come in here, not only are you going to be exposed and everybody's going to be able to see you, not only are you going to come here and be able to get compete for championships every year, but also we're a fast track to the fucking millions of dollars that the NFL can provide you. Like, we're basically, if you come here, you're going to be guaranteed to get drafted at some point in the NFL, whether it's the first, fourth, or seventh round. If you come here, you're probably getting drafted.
Yeah.
That's why you have all these top flight recruits going to Alabama's and Georgia's and stuff like that. That's why, it's frustrating being, you see New Jersey here. Like, we have Rutgers University. Rutgers now is in the Big Ten, but we still can't get out of our own way. But and New Jersey has some of the most talented football players in the country, some of the best and most talented, some of the top recruits come from Don Bosco Prep and St. Peter's Prep and Bergen Catholic, and there's New Jersey has a ton. St. Joseph Montvale, New Jersey has a ton of football talent, but it all leaves the state. They all go to either Ohio State, or they go to Alabama, or they go to USC, or they go to Nebraska. They can even go to Nebraska, and Nebraska fucking sucks. But everybody leaves New Jersey because what is Rutgers going to do? Rutgers doesn't get any national exposure. Rutgers is fucking Rutgers. The Rutgers is a joke.
Yeah.
Why am I going to commit to Rutgers? The only ones that you get to commit to Rutgers are the ones that want to stay home or want to stay near your family or just aren't good enough to get recruited by anybody else. Because that's the other thing, too. You go to somebody, where would you want to go to? You want to go to Alabama or you want to go to Rutgers? Well, if I go to Alabama, I'm going to the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's that. The one time that didn't happen was Ray Rice. Ray Rice was a fantastic player, was a Heisman candidate with Rutgers, and was obviously a top flight pick before he ended up beating the shit out of his wife up there.
I didn't realize he went to
fiance on camera, who then married him
the next
afterwards.
day.
Fucking stupid.
But as far as Notre Dame, I don't think we're going to see anything about them changing conferences until you see ACC. They're still trying to push real hard for the last two teams to join them. I think it's Cal and Stanford, maybe.
They're pushing. They're the last I heard that they're trying to get Cal, Stanford, and SMU.
Yeah, I think Cal and Stanford.
Those three. Which, first of all, that's a bad idea. Like, I at least like the Big Ten, like you still have some teams that are, the plains, like you have Nebraska, you have Iowa. Like obviously that's not west, but that's still pretty deep into the heartland. You know, so like adding USC, like adding the West Coast teams is still pretty ridiculous, but not that bad. When you're the ACC, you don't have anybody west of what? Like Wake Forest is the most west team you got or something? Or the Florida State and Tallahassee might be the most west. Thoughts and prayers to everybody down there in Florida, by the way, getting fucking crushed by that fucking hurricane.
Hammered.
Like that's the farthest west, and now you're going to bring in two as far west Coast teams as you can. That travel's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And think about all the other sports too. That's the complaint with a lot of the other expansion going on is the travel for all the other sports. Now you're doing this to that, like, and then on top of it, you have the teams in the ACC are pushing back. The North Carolina teams aren't voting for it. Florida State's not voting for it. You have arguments going on there. Apparently, this was supposed to all be done on Monday, and it's still not done here on when we're recording this Wednesday. Whether or not it gets done, I don't know. People have said, oh, it looks like it's close. It looks like it's all but a done deal, but it still hasn't happened yet. So, and the last I heard is that they wanted to get this done before week 1 of college football started. You know, we had just week 0 just happened. They wanted to get it done before this weekend. Will it happen? I don't know. Is Cal and Stanford waiting for something else? I think Stanford is waiting for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think they want the Big Ten more than anything because then they can still have USC, they still have UCLA, they still have Oregon they can play against and still maintain some of that Pac-10 cohesiveness. And then not only that, if I'm the Big Ten, I want that because that's listen, if you get Stanford, as I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, you now have every major rival that Notre Dame has.
Yeah.
In your conference. So all of a sudden now Notre Dame can't schedule their rivals without being in your conference. And if I'm the Big Ten, I would squeeze Notre Dame like that too. I would say, listen, USC, you can't schedule Notre Dame. Stanford, you can't schedule Notre Dame. Michigan can't schedule Notre Dame. And all of a sudden, like, are you going to start putting those traditions and those matchups that Notre Dame built, that Notre Dame and USC built both? You're gonna throw those away? I think if the Big Ten gets Stanford, I think you see Notre Dame go to the Big Ten and relatively quickly. And on top of that, the deal with Peacock, like that's and NBC, like they can work that out to where Notre Dame gets, if Notre Dame goes to the Big Ten, it's not going to be a deal like Oregon and Washington have, where it's like a half share.
Yeah.
That they're going to get, and then it like progressively gets better until the next deal goes. Like if Notre Dame joins the Big Ten, Notre Dame's not only getting their share, they're probably going to get an extra share from NBC just to be there.
Yeah.
Like that's what it seems like to me. So, that's a big thing. I think if I'm Stanford, if I'm Cal, I know you're scared to not be in a big time conference looking at next year and looking forward. I would say don't join the ACC. Even if it looks scary, even if you have to bide your time a little bit with the Big Ten, don't go to the ACC. Because not only that, their grant of rights is fucking atrocious. They're not going to give you the money. And not only that, but you already have teams like Florida and Clemson saying they want a bigger share.
Yeah.
And if you're Cal and Stanford, where your football programs aren't a top priority and you're not necessarily very good right now, not only are you not going to get what the regular share is, you're going to get even less now because Florida State and Clemson are going to try to grab a bigger piece of the pie before I think they try to leave altogether.
And that's why I think eventually it's going to happen.
No, absolutely. Well, they're already looking. Florida State's been loud to the point where all the other teams that want to leave the ACC are telling them to shut the fuck up and do it more quietly. But like they've already said, they're looking for loans. They're looking at banks and banking loans to pay the exit fee. They're looking at their lawyers for loopholes to get out of the grant of rights situation, that's as I mentioned a couple episodes ago before. That's a problem too. because that's the thing. Even if they're able to leave the conference, the grant of rights means that the ACC still owns their games.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be able to have it like so. There's a whole legal loophole and stuff like that needs to happen. But if they can figure it out, if Florida State can figure it out, if Clemson figures it out, the ACC is going to go the way of the Pac-12. It will be gone.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You're going to see Florida State's going to go to the SEC. Miami might go to the SEC. Clemson might go SEC or Big Ten. We don't know. North Carolina and Duke might go Big Ten or SEC. Don't know. Like, you're going to have teams. It's going to be one last big rush of teams trying to pick apart the ACC. And, would it be easier just to kind of fucking get rid of all of these, at least for football, just get rid of the fucking conferences, set it up as like 2 fucking super leagues and fucking just set it up like that. And then just run the playoffs, run the regular season, run the playoffs, do something like that. Maybe even set it up regionally, set up your own little conferences, set up a Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest, whatever the fuck you want to do. And set it up that way. Like, I don't know, because a lot of this stuff seems to be a little crazy right now. But either way, I think that's what we're looking at here. And I think, like you said, I think that's coming down the pike sooner than later. As far as like Florida State and Clemson. Listen, I'll say this. The ACC contract and grant of rights and everything runs through 2036. The ACC is not making it to 2030,
oh, God, no. Yeah,
let alone 2036. It's not happening.
Yeah. I totally agree that before their rights are up, they'll be dead.
Yeah, no, there's no way. There's no way. And especially with the money as it is now, and you see like per year, every ACC team gets something like 250, 200, I forget the exact number. Somewhere it was like 230 and $270 million a year. And then you look at what like every team from the Big Ten is getting with this deal, minus Oregon and Washington. Because they're only getting a half share, but it's like close to like 900 million for each team.
Yeah,
a year or something like that. And you start looking at that, or whether it's total deal, I can't remember. Either way, like it's a lot of fucking money. And so if you're Florida State, you're Clemson, and you're seeing this, and it's like the SEC with their new deal with ESPN is leaving us in the dust. The Big Ten with their new deal with everybody is leaving us in the dust. The Big Ten really hit it big with their rights deals. So even the Big 12 is making a significant amount more than the ACC is. And what a comeback story they are, by the way. The Big 12, we all thought the Big 12 at this time last year when Texas and Oklahoma said they were leaving, we thought the Big 12 was going to do what the Pac-12 did this year.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, Big 12's dead. Nope. Those motherfuckers, they took on everybody and they survived. And then they took in, when the Pac-12 collapsed, they took in all the Pac-12 teams. They got Arizona State, Colorado, Utah. They picked up fucking everybody. They said, hey, come on, guys, let's go. And it's like, wow, what a fucking turnaround for them. So good job there by the Big 12. But yeah, there's too much money now. There's too much money at stake. And I know people will bitch and complain about it being like, oh, it's not the college football I knew or grew up. Yeah, but listen, shit changes.
Yeah.
The college football that you grew up with wasn't the same college football from the 50s that your dad grew up with.
Yeah, exactly.
And that college football wasn't the same as the college football from the 30s. Like, you got to remember when the AP poll came in, the 50s or something, or 40s? Like, you got to think back to the 30s and 20s. Like, people who grew up there are like, oh, this is terrible. What, they're wearing plastic helmets now instead of leather? What is this poppycock? This is nonsense. What, you're not allowed to remove someone's teeth with your crown of your helmet? This isn't football. Like, listen, the game changes, traditions change. Like it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you have to look at it from that sense of like, this is changing. This is how it's going forward. you maintain their rivalries where you can, and some of the traditions where you can. But at the end of the day, you also got to do what's best to keep everything viable. And for a lot of these schools, the football programs is what not only keeps the athletic departments going, but a lot of that keeps the schools going.
Oh yeah.
Help with research departments and help with different education departments and funds and grants and all that other nonsense. Despite how egregious tuition costs have gotten at these colleges, and don't get me started on that. I understand that's a fucking problem as well. But these football programs bring in a ton of money for the athletic departments that help all the other ones, like women's basketball, lacrosse at some of these places, swimming programs, the Olympic sport programs, especially when you talk about things like Stanford and Cal, Oregon, USC. Like, they have huge Olympic sport programs there that produce Olympic gold medalists and athletes and things like that. And if it's not for the football programs, a lot of those athletic departments get shut down. Like, they can't afford it. They can't use them,
Yeah.
So when I look at all that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, I understand why they're doing it. I don't see it. People see it as straight up greed. And sure, I'm sure there's some greed with it. And some of the conference presidents and school presidents, they get a hefty sum, and everybody, listen, that's always going to happen, whether it's government or school, which is basically one and the same now. Abolish the Department of Education. I just want to put that out there. Yes, I understand looking at it from that aspect, but I can't blame them when you're some of these schools, and especially like the ACC. Now, if you're looking at it and you're seeing all these other schools make all this money that they're able to now fund all their other athletic programs and fund their schools and fund different research departments and fund different educational departments and get new libraries and all these other, and be on a cutting edge of things where, a lot of that happens at these universities. Yeah. How can you sit there and say like, oh, we'll be fine falling behind and not making this money? And then on top of that, as your football program falls behind, and then all of a sudden you don't get the good recruits. And then your football program falls even farther behind. And now you're not making the college football playoff. You're not in the national spotlight. Now fewer people come to your game. Now you're making even less money. Now it comes time for the next contract. Who wants to watch the fucking ACC? Nobody does. You guys aren't any good.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking terrible. So then the next contract isn't going to be any better. They're not going to look at anything. So I get it from the point of a Florida State, from a Clemson, from Duke and North Carolina being like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, we have to make money or we're gonna be dead.
Yeah.
That's just the long and short of it, man. That's just the long and short of it. So they're gonna have to do that.
So switching up a little bit, NFL talk. Trey Lance being traded to the Cowboys. Why do you? Let me see how I want to say this. Do you think the 49ers are getting a fair share of messing up that draft day trade compared to what Chicago did for Mitch Trubisky?
Here's the thing. I am of the opinion that I give the 49ers credit. I give them a lot of credit. And I saw this the other day also, and Rich Eisen, he said the same thing on his show a couple days ago, and I was happy to see that somebody kind of shared my opinion with it too. I give the 49ers credit because they took a big swing. It was a risk. Everybody knew it was a risk, but they knew Jimmy G was injury prone. They didn't know how much longer they wanted to keep him. They didn't know like that. They were high on Trey Lance, despite his lack of experience and lack of football playing time. They got sold on him, whether that was either bad scouting or maybe Colin Cowherd pushed it because his daughter was banging him at the time. Which I didn't know that until a while ago, that Colin Cowherd's daughter was banging Trey Lance when he was drafted. And that's why Colin Cowherd was all over him saying, oh, this guy's great. He's going to be great. And then as soon as it sort of stopped dating him, I don't know if he can make it. Is he really the kind of good? It's like, oh, Colin, you stupid son of a bitch. But by the way, Colin Cowherd's daughter, let's fucking go, man.
Yeah.
Not a bad one.
Oh,
A little thick. I like a thick girl though.
Yeah.
So not bad. Nice. Anyway, way off subject. You're misogynistic. You dirty bastard. I know. But here's the thing: like they took a swing on him. He just kept on getting injured, and then when he did play, he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And so you get him in camp this year, and you have Purdy coming back from the Tommy John surgery. You got Sam Darnold, who's been around and much maligned the same way, and you have Trey Lance, and you're like, all right, everybody, let's see what you got. Let's see what you do. And listen, at the end of the day, when you have the coach of the organization sitting there saying, like, he's number 3 of the 3 quarterbacks we got, he's number 3. He just doesn't have it. And the ability to admit that and not push it and not try to say, no, clearly we missed, but we have to justify the fact that we traded away draft picks and moved all the way up to number 3 and drafted them at number 3. So even though Brock Purdy is clearly better and more ready at this point, we're going to put in Trey because we have to, or otherwise we're going to get fired.
Yeah.
We're going to lose our job, because what a big swing and a miss. The fact that the 49ers and their ownership are sticking with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, even after swinging and missing on Trey Lance, that's a big thing. And that's because here's the other thing. If they felt like they were going to get fired for that, I guarantee you Trey Lance would be starting.
Yeah.
They would start Trey Lance come hell or high water because they have to justify it, or we're out of a job. But they got told, listen, you guys took a swing, you missed, don't worry. Now, does the fact that the rest of the 49ers equate to a Super Bowl contending team every year, and that even though you missed on Trey Lance, you somehow had Brock Purdy fall into your fucking lap, and this kid looks to be a fucking wonder kid? Doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt that you missing on your quarterback hasn't hurt your quarterback position and hasn't hurt you being a contender for a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah.
If the 49ers missed on Trey Lance and they were 3-13, 3-14, that might be a different story. But the rest of the 49ers resume there from a personnel standpoint, they're a Super Bowl contender, and they've been a Super Bowl contender for the last 5 years. So you can't argue with that. So actually, I that's what I was just getting to the point of, yes, I a lot of people are looking there and trying to cook the 49ers and cook Lynch and cook Shanahan for this is the worst draft bust of all time, worst draft trade. This is going to go down in history as the worst thing. Like, I'm not cooking them. I think what they did was they took a swing and they missed and they landed in shit and ended up coming up smelling like roses because they got a 4th round fucking pick for a garbage fucking quarterback.
That's what I was surprised about, was the 4th round draft pick, because if he wasn't going to get traded, he was going to get cut. So why did Dallas pull a trade when they knew he was going to get cut?
If anything, cook the Cowboys on this one.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? And Jerry. God. Jerry. What are you doing, Jerry? Hold on. Because Jerry, I understand you love talking. It's his thing. He loves it. That's fine. Nothing wrong with it. We love it when Jerry talks.
Oh, definitely do.
When you have a quarterback that's coming off his worst season, has a bit of confidence issues, as Dak does apparently, trying to work some stuff, whatever. And in the one press conference where they're talking about Trey Lance, you just happen to so nonchalantly reference the fact that Man, we wanted Jalen Hurts really bad.
Yeah.
We really wanted him. Couldn't get him, but boy, did we really want to get him. What the fuck are you doing?
And didn't they? Oh, that's right. Yeah, if he was available, they were definitely going to draft him. That was the second part of that.
Oh,
well,
Jerry.
and also, not to get off topic about the Trey Lance topic here, I brought it up to you, I think it was last week, him making the comment about his defensive end getting a ticket for speeding.
Yes. Well, listen, to be fair, he's technically correct.
He is, but come on, man, you can't say
Which
that
is the
shit.
best kind of correct, but he's technically correct. Listen. He was what about 30 miles an hour safer. So at the end of the day, I get it.
Even this guy I work with is a Cowboys fan. I was like, dude, did you hear that Jerry Jones comment? He's like, no. I said, at lunchtime, I'll find you the clip of it. Even he, after listening to the clip, put his head down in disgust. And usually he just like blows me off. He just put his head down shaking. I said, I think Stephen Jones is in the corner going, oh, God damn it, Dad.
See, that's it. I wasn't in disgust. I was like, on the surface, you're like, what the fuck are you saying, Jerry? But then you stop and think about it, and it's like, he's not wrong. I mean, should he have said it? Probably not. But is he technically wrong? No. So I'll get it. I'll let it go. But man, that Jalen Hurts comment.
Yeah.
When you know you're going into a season with a quarterback that is already full of confidence issues, that already is coming off his worst season, his worst professional season, to say like, boy, we really wanted this other guy. We would have been a lot better if we had this other guy. If he came to us, we were drafting him, no doubt. And it's like and then on top of that, you've also traded to get Trey Lance to come in, who's a shit quarterback. If I'm Dak, what do you think at this point?
By this point, you just, let me run my contract out and I'm leaving. Because they're supposedly negotiating with him now to get a better contract.
Try to cut down the contract, yeah. And listen, at this point, he might go.
I'll sign a new contract if Jerry retires.
Speaking of quarterback contracts, boy, how quickly did that fucking Kyler Murray fucking situation turn?
Dude, yeah. Rumors of him
gonna play him this year.
I was gonna say rumors of him possibly not playing, that they're privately telling people that they're not gonna play him.
They are not gonna play him this year because if he gets injured, the injury clause on his contract instantly gives him like $53 million or something.
Holy shit.
So they're going to keep him on the fucking PUP list and either find a way to fucking release him or trade him or somehow get rid of him. And, they're going to get hurt by however way it happens, but it'll be less so than like if he gets injured and gets like the guaranteed injury money.
Yeah.
But like they're ready to move on. They're ready to go. And that's what I mean, because you got to figure if you're the Cardinals, now you have a new regime in there. You have a new GM, you have new coach, you have new everything like that. And last season was the mess that was left over from the GM they had before that all of a sudden quit out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The stress between Kyler and the coach, and whether or not he had to have the film clause, and then they had to take out the film clause because people were like, why is he not watching film? And then it became a whole thing. And it's like, all of a sudden you paid Kyler Murray all that money. The Cardinals fucking stunk last year. And now it's like, yeah, we're not paying this guy. We are not fucking paying him. Like JJ, it was so bad last year you made JJ Watt fucking retire. It was, and that's the shame of it, because the Cardinals like 2 years ago were looking like, man, they can make a run. They could be on a real good Super Bowl team. They have the talent, they have the ability, and Kyler just kind of pissed that all away. Like the thing that exposed that to me last year was when Kyler Murray started yelling at DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, you want to sit there and yell at your coach. I get that sometimes quarterbacks and coaches yell, or everybody else is wrong but Kyler and everything like that. You start yelling at DeAndre Hopkins. I was like, listen, everybody else might be wrong. Everybody else might not run the right route, or everybody else might not do what you say. There's no way that DeAndre Hopkins is doing something wrong. And there's no way that DeAndre Hopkins is less of a football player than you are. So the fact that you're sitting here, DeAndre Hopkins, and the way DeAndre just fucking ignored him as he walked by, I was like, this team is cooked. They are done. Everybody, people have tuned out and got rid of Kyler. Has no control there. The coach had no control there. Like they were just, it was all just, that was nonsense. So what a massive fall there from the Cardinals in just 2 years, going from, hey, Super Bowl favorites possibly, they can get there. They can go to, I think they're in full rebuild mode. A lot of people saying they're going to tank. Again, I don't think NFL teams tank. I don't think you can tank. Trying to tell people fighting for their jobs, oh, you're tanking. They're punching in the face for saying that.
Yeah. But if you're the GM, you could tank the team. I mean, they traded Isaiah Simmons to you guys for a freaking 7th-round draft pick.
That's true. That's true. But I think that's the other thing. I think they're trying to get what they can for some pieces that they either, again, like I said, there's a new regime there. They didn't draft some of these players. They didn't build what was there, because what was there obviously wasn't working. So they're cleaning house, and they want to set up their own regime. And I get that clean slate kind of situation. So we'll just see what happens there. But man, what a turnaround for that team. And it's a shame. It's a shame, but it just goes to show you, man. For everything that we think we know, we don't know anything.
Yeah. And I'll even say this: I don't even think Gannon is going to be the coach there for when Kyle Murray goes away and they go into the official rebuild. I think they'll actually bring a good coach in and build that team back up.
You think he's a stopgap?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think he's like a stopgap just to get by, get this mess all cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll bring in the real players, the real coach. Because Gannon's not a head coach, and you're going to see that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see. Right now, though, I do want to do something. Normally, I wouldn't do this.
Okay.
Normally, I'm against this, but I was bored today, so I figured, what the hell? We're here. We're on the cusp of a new NFL season, aren't we? We're cusping.
Yes, we're cusping. We're almost
right
to the top.
There. We're almost there. We're right there. It's right almost to our lips. We can almost taste it. The NFL season. Almost here. A week away. We're a week away.
Yes.
And since we're a week away, what better time, I think, than to premiere the first Stay Tuned Sports preseason edition of King's NFL Top 12.
Wow. See, okay, now for everybody that's listening, I didn't even know this. So this is breaking news to me even.
This is brand new. Yeah, I wanted to keep it a secret from you. I wanted to I didn't want you to get a sneak preview or do anything like that. I'm going to hit it with you.
I can guarantee the Giants are above the Eagles the whole time. So I'll just get that out of the way now.
No. So here's the thing. You'll see, and you'll be exposed to it. Same with everybody else. You have to wait until I expose myself here, Jimbo.
Never mind.
Anyway, at number 12, starting off preseason Kings NFL Top 12 here for Stay Tuned Sports, I have the Miami Dolphins. I think they've put a lot of pieces together. I think they've put a lot of things together. If Tua stays healthy, this is a dangerous team, more dangerous, I think, than people are giving them credit for. I think they're a decent dark horse. That AFC East is going to be a fucking problem. I see them almost being the same as the NFC East was last year. I think they have 3 really good teams and the Patriots, which is weird. And listen, you never know. The Patriots might surprise somebody. I doubt it, but they might. You never know. At number 11, I have the Minnesota Vikings. This one was tough. Not sure. Kirk Cousins, he's regular season Kirk Cousins. He's 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins. If you get primetime Kirk Cousins, we already know what you get with primetime Kirk Cousins. He's got to overcome that. He does eventually. But are the Vikings going to make waves in the regular season? Yes, they always do. They're a good enough team to do that. Are they good enough to get far in the playoffs? Probably not, but that's why I have them at 11. At number 10, Jacksonville Jaguars. This team is only going to get better from what they were last year. They made that late season run to win the division, to get into the playoffs. Again, they got in by the skin of their teeth. Won a playoff game, but that amazing comeback against San Diego. Well, I mean, it's either the Jaguars came back or San Diego collapsed, however you want to look at it. But the Jaguars also put up a pretty good fight in Kansas City against the Chiefs. So I will give them that. And I think they're only going to get better. Trevor Lawrence is only going to get better under Peterson, who is he's got the pedigree for being a good head coach. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. He's got a statue of him hanging up inside the fucking link, So number 10, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 9, the New York Football Giants. The New York Football Giants at number 9. Giants surprised the hell out of everybody, including me last year, but having just a fantastic season. They started off 7-2. They fell off a little bit towards the end of the year. They had a ton of fucking injuries, but still were able to get into the playoffs, beat the Vikings, actually won a playoff game last year. Holy shit, what an amazing thing that was. We're not going to talk about the game that they lost in the playoffs.
Which game was that?
Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about my list here. Now, you're talking about Daniel Jones. This is the first time I believe that he's had the same coach and offensive coordinator for 2 years in a row. He did amazing work and mitigated a lot of his turnovers last year in his first year under Daboll. This year, is he going to expand it more, stretch it out? He could. We got Darren Waller, which is a fantastic addition at tight end, basically a wide receiver and a fucking solid pickup. The Giants have a lot of no names at wide receivers, but I like them, and a lot of them do good. That Hodgins kid is good. Shepard, like the Giants have receivers that nobody knows, but they do catch the ball and they get yardage. And of course, having Saquon back helps a ton if he stays healthy. And the Giants get that new turf there at the Meadowlands, so hopefully you'll keep everybody's ACLs fine. I think the Giants can be good, but they have a tougher schedule. That's why I have them at 9. I'm mitigating it a little bit. We'll see how the season goes, but at number 9, I have the New York Giants. At number 8, Baltimore Ravens. After all that fucking drama with Lamar Jackson, they pick up Odell Beckham. Lamar Jackson finally fucking signs. The Ravens are always a dangerous team, but I put them at kind of in the same level as the Vikings. Regular season team, does well in the regular season, but you get them into the postseason and they just choke and they fall apart. They're not a good postseason team. They're not. They're going to have to prove people wrong this year for me to put them up higher. And for right now, I can't. So for preseason, number 8, your Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Everybody's high on the Lions here. Everybody's liking what the Lions are doing. I love what the Lions are doing. I love Dan Campbell. This is a team that last year was the best team from week 7 on. They were the best team and missed the playoffs by a hair because of a bad call in the Seattle game that they weren't even involved in.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But that being said, the NFL thinks pretty highly of them. They're opening up the season against the Chiefs, being the prime time games. That's pretty special, and that's pretty nice. And they're going to have the Lions can start showing everybody, even if they don't win that game, they can show everybody if they're for real this year or not. So for now, I have the Lions at number 7. At number 6, I have the Buffalo Bills. Is the window closing for this team? I think that's a question to ask. Josh Allen didn't have a great year last year. Had a ton of red zone turnovers in both interceptions and fumbles. The Bills lost a lot of games last year in the last minutes. The games that you thought they had won, that they let go. That Minnesota game is one that comes to mind real quickly. The playoff game against Miami, they almost lost. If it wasn't for some Miami mistakes, the Bills lose the divisional game against the Dolphins. I absolutely believe, or wild card game. Sorry, I think the Dolphins could almost beat the Bills last year. in that playoff game, which is insane. Which is insane to think about. And then you have off-season drama with Diggs. You have off-season, with Diggs and Allen and what's going on. Obviously, you have the DeMar Hamlin situation, which is good to see him back on the team and actually playing football.
Yeah.
I would have laughed my ass off if they would have cut him yesterday, but you knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But again, I'm iffy on the Bills right now, so I have them at 6. Number 5, we get to the top 5 here now. We have the New York Jets.
Wow.
I got the Jets up here. I'm high on the Jets. Listen, the Jets almost made the playoffs last year.
That's true.
They had minus a quarterback. They didn't have a quarterback last year. And they almost made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. And now you get a team that has gotten better offensively. Offensive line needs some work, don't get me wrong, but they are better offensively. They still have the offensive rookie of the year with Garrett Wilson. You have Sauce Gardner, the defensive rookie of the year on the other side. That defensive front is a monster. You have that defensive backfield monster. Like, the Jets are primed. If I'm a Jets fan, I know you want to approach this season with caution, because just like a lover who's been cheated on a lot, you've been hurt before.
Yeah.
You've seen what great expectations can be, and then you've had your hopes dashed, and you just don't want to get hurt again. I get it. I understand. I'm with you, but I think it's okay to let it go, and to let yourself love again. And I think this Jets team is the team to do that with. You have Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, 2 out of the last 3 MVPs, 2 in a row there, has 4 overall. The best quarterback the Jets have had since Vinny Testaverde, probably. This is the Jets' year. If the Jets don't do it this year, they may never do it. But this is the Jets' year. This year and next year, I think this is the Jets' time. They've gone all in here. The Jets have gone all in. And I think that deserves of them getting up to number 5. And they got a big test. They play the Bills on Monday Night Football opening week. So we'll see right off the bat where the Jets stand. At number 4, your defending NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, this team is just good. They're just a good team. You can't fight it. You can't argue it. They're just a good team. I fucking hate them. I don't like them. But they're a good team. They have the entire Georgia Bulldog defense.
They got baby Rhino.
Their offense, again, you have Jalen Hurts, who is an absolute weapon. Can he produce in year 3 the same way he did in year 2? Can he only get better? I think there might be some questions when it comes to defensive backfield and certain other positions. Is Kelsey maybe a year too old? There are some questions, and that's why I don't have the Eagles a little bit higher. But I think they are clearly one of the Super Bowl favorites, at least top 4. Clearly top 4, because they're in my top 4. They are a top 4 team until they prove otherwise. And I don't think they're going to prove otherwise. I think they're going to be very good all year. The Eagles are my number 4 team. Number 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. This it was hard between putting who was 4 and 3 between the Bengals and Eagles. And I know you were going to hate me. You're going to say, well, you just did that because you hate the Eagles. That's not true. I still think at the end of the day, I think Joe Burrow is still a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts at the moment. I do. Okay. I love the Bengals' weapons. Having Jamar Chase there, having Mixon there, that Bengals defense, again, not big names, but fucking surprisingly good. Same last year. Last year, the Bengals defense was I think what was it, top 2, top 3
Yeah.
defense, and it was kind of like a revamp of the no-name defense from Dallas in the 70s. Nobody knows who they are, but man, are they good. And that's the same thing here. And I think the Bengals, again, they're going to be fighting all the way, and they're again, to me, a Super Bowl favorite going into this season. Number 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I think to me right now,
Wow.
I think they are the NFC favorites to get to the Super Bowl. They are, and again, I think this hinges completely and 100% on Brock Purdy staying healthy.
I just say Brock Purdy, period.
That team is loaded defensively, loaded offensively. You have fucking Christian McCaffrey in that backfield. You have, listen, I can name off the names. You know the names. I can name off the positions. You know it all. Okay? At the end of the day, that team is a killer. That team is a killer. And I think the only thing that can stop the 49ers is injuries. That's the only thing that can stop them. I have them currently as my NFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl. We'll see how the season plays out. Everything shakes out differently. Sometimes in the preseason, you look like an idiot. I look like an idiot anyway most of the time. But for right now, that's how I have them. And, of course, you have to, because you have to. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And nobody's beat the man yet, except for Tom Brady. The Chiefs are just the Chiefs. And I said that last year a lot. I'm saying it this year again to start off. Patrick Mahomes has got that magic, and sometimes the Chiefs start off slow, but they're always there. All the key pieces are still there. I know they're working. My man over there still holding out on the defensive side. Why isn't the name escaping me? God, I hate old age. It sucks.
Jones.
But Dad Jones, that's it. But I think eventually they're going to get that worked out. They need him there. That will get worked out. He will be back. Again, until somebody beats them, until somebody is clearly head and shoulders above them, you got to have the Chiefs at number 1. So there you go. The very first Kings NFL Top 12 of 2023, the preseason Top 12. You got the Chiefs, Niners, Bengals, Eagles, Jets, Jets. You got the Bills, you got the Lions, you got the Ravens, you got the New York Football Giants, Jaguars at 10, Vikings, and rounding it out, you have the Miami Dolphins. Of course, all of these rankings are subject to change.
Of course they are. I'm waiting for the Giants to be above the Eagles.
Hey, listen, if the Eagles start off slow and the Giants do good, you'll have no, I won't have a choice with that. That's, again, it's all based on performance. You got to do that. And that's the other thing too, is unfortunately, the Giants and Eagles don't get to go head to head until the last 3 weeks of the fucking season.
Yeah, that does suck.
Man, what a fucking wild last 3 weeks that'll be, though, especially if the Giants do good. Like if the Giants can show that they can handle the schedule they have, and perform better than they did last year. And all of a sudden, it's a fight to the end. I want to jump on this before anybody jumps on it. No, I don't have the Cowboys in the top 12, and it's not because I'm a Giants fan. I just hate the fucking Cowboys. My reason, I'll give you the reason. The Cowboys every year, and I've said this before. You can go back and listen to the old episodes of the show. The Cowboys every year, on paper, are one of the best teams in the NFL every year. I think with the talent they always put together on paper, you look at all this, the stats for the players and all the metrics and everything like that. On paper, the Cowboys are always one of the best teams in the NFL until they start playing games.
Yeah.
And then things happen. And then especially like regular season, like again, the Cowboys remind me again, a lot of the Vikings. Good regular season. Get into regular season, they get into the postseason, they fucking collapse. And it always happens. And now you have Dak coming off of his worst year statistically. When he threw 17 interceptions,
Do you think? Here's a question. I'll ask you this too, and I'll do this after I finish my point here. But you have Dak coming off his worst year. Then you have fucking Jerry Jones basically saying, "Man, I really would have rather having Jalen Hurts." You know, that's not going to help his confidence. As usual, it's a bunch of fucking chaos around the Cowboys, around the players, around the organization. Can they start off well? Will they do a regular season well? They could. They might not. That's the other thing, too. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys. And because of that, because there is so much uncertainty, and because they are always that paper champion and that paper tiger, I went with teams I feel like are more solid. And I know it sounds weird to say that the Vikings are more solid than the Cowboys, but right now, in my mind, I think they are.
Yeah.
I think that the Vikings are a more solid team right now than the Cowboys. I think the Jaguars are a more solid team right now than the Cowboys. And again, if the Cowboys go through the season and they prove me wrong, as you've seen, and go back and look at all my other fucking top 12s that I did last year, I will put the Cowboys where they belong in this list. I will. I don't do anything here. Like, I don't keep the Eagles out because I don't like the Eagles. I don't keep the Cowboys out because I don't like the Cowboys. I don't keep, listen, I'm a Giants fan. I hate the fucking 49ers. I don't like them. I have them at fucking number 2. Like, it's just, why do you hate the 49ers? I grew up in the 80s. Everybody hated the 49ers. That's just, how I do. So before any of the Cowboy fans start fucking bitching and moaning at me, that's why. Now, here's the question I'll pose to you real quickly. Over under last year's 17 interception mark for Dak. I'll do it interesting. I'll do 16.5. I'll put a hook on it there for you. 16.5 over under Dak Prescott interceptions. Over or under, go.
I'm going to say under, but it's still going to be a high number, like 15. Like, I think he'll get close to that over under a number.
But you're saying under.
I'm saying under, yeah. Because, I mean, that's tough to top 17 interceptions.
I'm not hoping this. Well, maybe I am a little bit. I'm going to say over. And I'm going to say over a lot because, again, his performance last year wasn't great. And then with everything that was said in this offseason, like, do we forget back when the Cowboys fucking social media team threw him under the fucking bus?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think everybody remembers that. Like, after that playoff loss, they posted, like, because of Dak's 3 interceptions and all this stuff, the Cowboys once again failed. I was like, holy shit! They threw him under the fucking bus.
Yeah.
And again, because of the comments this offseason from Jerry, and just recently, like I said, them trading for Trey Lance and making a big deal out of it, and then saying the shit they did about Jalen Hurts, and it's just like, any sense of confidence of anything that I think with Dak, like, I think that's gone. And then not only that, he's going to be in this, well, I'll show you, and he's going to be in a prove it mode. And when you do that, that's when the mistakes come.
Yeah.
That's when the problems happen. And I think that's what we're looking at when it comes to Dak. I think we're looking at somebody who is going to try to force it, and it's not going to end well. So I'll go with the over on that one. And sorry, Cowboys fans. I'm sorry to that. And listen, if he proves me wrong, God bless him. You all can come after me and fucking roast me and kill me and cook me, whatever you're gonna do. But I just that's what it is. That's how I see it. For now, you may see it differently, but I think you see it through star-colored glasses there. So we'll see. You got an Eagles fan on your side, Cowboys fans. You got an Eagles fan on your side. That's all I know.
So before we get going here, I just realized something. I just realized how to fix your internet connection.
How do I do that?
It needs Dubby. It's not focused.
Jimbo, I love you. I do.
What?
But I don't think Dubby can go ahead and fix my internet. However, Dubby can fix your focus and your connection, especially to reality, if you go ahead and get yourself some Dubby. Why is that? Well, much like how I wish my internet was more focused, more streamlined, would concentrate on what the fuck it's doing. It can't. And I also, from what I understand, if I pour Dubby into my router, it will just break the router. But if you pour Dubby into you, that's going to provide you with focus and energy throughout the day. And the great thing, too, is you're not going to get the jitters and you're not going to get that big crash because it doesn't have all that sugar in it. It's sugar-free, baby. You can go ahead and have that. You don't get those jitters, that crazy, you see those people who drink the stuff that's got the farm animals on it. They drink that stuff, and it's all like, oh, my God, I'm freaking out. I'm having a crash or my heart's going to explode. You don't get that with Dubby. You don't have to worry about that with Dubby. And on top of all of that, of talking about just having that great natural focus without having the jitters and the crash, Dubby also has neurofactor, which helps you think better, helps you keep you more focused. It actually helps your brain. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't make you feel more tired or crashed afterwards. It gives you the energy. It gives you the focus, and it actually helps your brain. It's crazy how much Dubby helps you. And right now, if you go to Dubby.gg, check out all their products. They got a bunch of great stuff out there. They have all those lovely flavors you can go ahead and pick out. They got some merchandise. They got the tumblers and shakers you can use there. I got all that stuff there. They even have the what am I thinking of there? The sample packs. You can get all the flavors, all the sample packs there. You get that, find out which one is your favorite, and then you can load up on that one too. All you have to do is go to Dubby.gg, pick out what you want. When you're ready to check out and you're like, hey, I'm going to pay for this. Man, you know what sucks, though? I think it's just a little too much money. But you don't have to worry about that because, first of all, it's not too much money. It's great stuff. Dubby is very affordable. And on top of that, you go ahead and put in code STSports18 at checkout. That's STSports18, all capital letters. You're going to get 10% off of your order. So not only are you getting an affordable energy drink, but you're also getting it with 10% off. Dubby.gg. Go there now. Get focused, get neurofactored, and get Dubby. Be better.
So I think that's going to be it for us for this week. I'm not too sure how hard it was on your end there. Trying to put my words together.
There's a lot of going in and out, and a lot of time on my screen here it popped up. Internet connection is unstable. I said, no fucking shit. So hopefully by next week that will be changed. And if not, you're gonna hear about somebody just going straight up Godzilla on the Verizon offices. Just stomping around.
I was gonna say, instead of donating for a new computer, please donate for bail money for King.
So hopefully next week it'll be a little bit better of a connection. But hey, everybody, we're almost there. We got college football this weekend, full slate of college football this week, and then next Thursday, NFL season kicks off. We made it. It seemed like forever, but we got through it. We got through this fucking summer. Especially for, a Yankee fan like myself, where it's been disappointing. I don't watch baseball anyway, but it's even worse when, at least with baseball, I don't watch it, but it's like, at least the Yankees are good. It's not even that case. It's like, wow, I don't even care. There's literally been nothing going on this summer. But we made it, everybody. We're here. Football season's here. Cooler weather, September, fall, and pumpkin spice, and apple cider donuts, and Jimbo's disgusting pumpkin-flavored beer. It's all here. We're ready to go. I'm ready. I can't wait for next week where we get to kick off everything for real.
So, till next week, this is your good friend Jimbo.
And it's your boy King.
We're out.
Fuck the Eagles.